Hi, hello. How do people start YouTube videos? I don't know. It's my first one. But this is the first episode of Greebo Draws Stuff, a series in which I, Greebo, will endeavour to draw stuff. It's a working title. So there is this guy, this geezer on YouTube called Jazza. Australian chap, apparently pretty famous. Who knew? And he has put out a prompt, a community challenge. Is it a challenge? A competition? A thing for us all to do together. A prompt which is the original description of an unknown character. And he wants people to show their sketch, show their finished art, put them on Twitter with hashtag monster design with Jazza, and a couple people will win one of his amazing pro sketch packs that look absolutely amazing. I've had his first box and his second box, which was actually 3 boxes, and it's all amazing quality stuff. So I'm sure this pro sketch pack is absolutely amazing. But the prompt seems like a very, very hard one. And I have to have a stab at it. I'm really inspired by this. And what a perfect subject to use for my first YouTube video. The concept and the hook is already done for me. I have the prompt. It's written on paper because apparently I'm ancient. Wait till you get a load of this. So this is hashtag monster design with Jazza. This thing is 8 to 10 feet tall, with a human-like face, animal snout, ears and horns, or a bird of prey beak and a crest of feathers instead of hair, coarse dark hair instead of the feathers, I suppose, oversized human hands, hooves, wearing dark leather, a long shirt of black chainmail, just to make it even more difficult, spiked axe, and either hooked spear or a scythe/curved sword. There is so much to unpack here. I have no idea which character this is. Oh, and just for complete and utter transparency, I had this skit planned in my head where I was going to say, this is actually a collab, and here comes Jazza to describe his prompt. And then it was going to be me or maybe my partner in this paper Jazza face mask I have, but I'm not entirely sure where that is at the moment, so it's not happening. Let's sketch. From the off, I knew I was going to enjoy this character. I have absolutely no idea who it's supposed to be, but I'm going to approach this just as I would any kind of prompt, where I just work in stages. I start with getting this horn version done, then I'm going to get a beaked version done of the face, try out a couple of different styles of hands. I settle on these big ham hock hands, and I decide I'm going to go for a big brute. After I've got these sketches laid down, it's time to grab my Tombow Fudanesca calligraphy pen and just start throwing some ink on the page, man. This is halfway between a brush pen and I guess a fine liner, and it's so good for just throwing down these quick lines. Look at that sketch. Looks like I've sped it up. How ridiculous. You may also notice I haven't done a crest there on the bird's head, but you'll notice it does come in later. I just forgot what crest meant, and I thought it was the feathers around the neck, but it isn't. It's the feathers on top of the head, and they will pop up about halfway through the drawing when I realise my mistake. For now though, I'm just going to get a rough outline down. Normally I would start with doing the big bold shapes, but I just kind of went for it on this one. I thought, you know what, I'm recording it for the internet, so why not take risks and potentially embarrass myself in that traditional Greebo way. Here I'm just refining my sketch a chunk. I over sketch is something I do quite a bit. I over detail my sketches. Here I'm thinking of putting some big footless socks on and like curling the fingers out there like talons, but they get a little less talony and a little more giant human hand as I go. And that face is also going to change, because that just currently looks like, there you go, see it's going, it looked like a big droopy nose. Do you see the crest? The crest has suddenly appeared there. Now that we've got that crest and this big angry open beak expression, it's time to bring back the dramatic lighting and finish refining our sketch. For the dark leather, I've gone for leather armor on the shoulders and as braces. There's also a bunch of leather belts and things holding on weapons and just strapped around the body and around the skirts of our big warrior woman here. I originally thought about going for a leather sleeveless vest, but that I just wasn't getting on with that idea. And I also went with these big goblin ears, because they just seem right, honestly. They're not mentioned, but they just seem like the way to go for this. Because, as we all know, a bird of prey just is not a bird of prey without goblin ears. Go out, look at your local falcons and things like that. If you get up close to them, if you gain their trust, they will reveal to you the secrets of their goblin ears. Some people look at a bird and they're like, Greebo, this does not have ears, yet they have tiny little holes that detect sound and all that stuff, sort of like lizards. And to that I say, no, the birds don't trust you enough. If the birds truly trusted you, they would show you their goblin ears. That's why goblins have goblin ears, because they're just fans of birds of prey. How is this not more common knowledge? More people should be trusted enough by the birds. Although it's not exactly hard to understand why we're not more trusted by the birds, is it? I mean, humans are pretty terrible, but also pretty great. I suppose it depends on the people, on the persons, on the humans. Don't know where I'm going with this. Here's some hands. I hate drawing hands, everyone does, don't they? Some people love them actually, some people are sick and twisted and do studies and things to better themselves, which is stuff that I should do. Sure. It's not stuff I plan to do anytime soon. So I'm going to draw these big meaty hands and this awesome mean looking scythe with a big notch out of it. That's how you know it's used in war and skirmishes or general disputes around the house. And here's some unfortunate shaped rocks. Yes. Regardless, now it's time for the finer details. And this is where I actually really started to think this might turn out nicely. Because up to this point, I still really was not sure. But these tiny little details, I think, bring it all together. And now it's on to the painting stage. I'll be using my favourite brush pen, watercolour pen. What are they actually called? I'm sure they have a name, but it came with the Stuart Semple Culture Hustle watercolour paint set that I bought my partner several years ago, before I even started to draw. And now I've claimed it. And it's as simple as that, really. It's sort of like sketching down with markers, but it isn't, because it's paint. And that's all I really have. That's my expert opinion on that. It's kind of like using a pen, but it's not a pen. And it's kind of like using a paintbrush, but it's not a paintbrush either. It's it's a water bottle, I guess, is what it's most close to. So I'm going to use my water bottle pen to do loads of grey all over this thing for the shadows. You'll notice I go over most of this grey throughout, but it helps me visualise when I'm coming to it, like just my light source and, you know, all of that kind of stuff. And it looks kind of cool in grey. Grey is cool. I started off by drawing just with black and then black and grey, and I still have a soft spot for it. But I also absolutely love colour now, which is something I never thought I would say. I love colour and I love watercolour. Two things I thought I despised. I admittedly went a bit heavy with the red on this, painting in all the jam, and I was trying to do a red light source. But I kind of changed my mind away from that. While I'm thinking about it, I just start getting in some quick textures on the ground, because I want this to have that sketch feel to it, because that's what it is. I'm doing this in a sketchily, yeah, you know what, sketchily style, and that's the vibe I'm going for. I don't want to over refine too much. I want the character to be done well and well refined, and the rest I want to be good enough. You know, it's like, you know, this is a forest setting now because there's brown stuff. 'Cause that means forest. Yeah. I'm a very much less civilized person than drawing Greebo. Drawing Greebo is lovely. Voiceover Greebo is filthy. Just an awful, awful person. I'm not even discussing all the finer details I'm going through now, and the fact that I'm bolding out the outlines and going in, getting hatching in there, and that this is one of the last two steps that is going to really make this pop. Instead, I've been talking about Goblin Ears and things like that. It's quite amazing, isn't it? Is this a bad time to ask you to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more of this? Because that's what I've just done now. So yeah, do that. If I get to, I don't know, 10 subscriptions, I'll be happy about it. And that should be enough for you. You don't need a reward from me. You should just be happy for me, or this scythe wielding woman, bird lady, is gonna come for you. Look, scary red eyes are getting detailed now. That's how you know she's serious. As soon as the fine liner goes in on the eyeballs, that's drama right there. That is pure drama. I don't know what I'm talking about. Do you? No. But you're still listening, aren't you? This is where I just heard everyone switch the video off. Like, no. Just to prove you wrong, Greebo. Quick, look at all those nice little details. I'm alluding to chainmail and doing nice little hatching. And now it's the highlighting stage. Some people use paint pens for this, some people use paint, some people use acrylic ink. I've tried most things, and I don't know if the gel pen is the best way to go through it, but it is my preferred way just because I can do it quickly and I can just grab it out of my pencil case, you know? And sure, I could do that with a paint pen, but that would disprove the point I'm trying to make. So yeah. Get a couple more details on the floor here, and then it's about time for me to stop prattling on and for us to have some dramatic glamour shots. Are you guys ready for the drama? It's about to get so heckin' dramatic. Let's go. And there we have it. This is our, I don't know quite what. This is our monster design with Jazza prompt is what this is. I'm really quite happy with how it turned out. I love it a lot more than I thought I would. And I've got to say, it was just so much fun to go along this whole journey, not just making this, but also making a YouTube video and all that, and I would love to make some more. So if you did make it this far through the video, please drop us a like and all that stuff. Just because I'm a shallow person, and that little bit of encouragement just might bring me back again and again and again until you guys get sick of me, really. Because this is what I want to do. But I don't have a sign off yet, so peace.